the host of Aaron's Hour, Aaron Phillips.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a fresh edition, hot off the press, right out of the oven of Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips, coast to coast. I'm coming to you from Virginia Beach. At least that's what the sign says over my shoulder. And joining me today is a returning guest. Every 6 years we interview Diana Eden. She is an author of not one, but two books. Second book coming out. I'll get to those titles in a minute. Diana, though, is a world-renowned career of costume design for the rich and famous of all size screens, big screen, small screen, even networking screens. My friend Diana Eden, how are you?
I'm just great. Thank you for that introduction.
Here is the proof, ladies and gentlemen. This was book number one, Stars in Their Underwear, which when I first met her all these years ago and we talked about the title, I just chuckled at the title because all I'm picturing all these Hollywood paparazzi famous people and their stories literally about them running around in their underwear, right?
Right. I know. And I had to explain what the title really meant, which means in some cases, literally celebrities in their underwear as I'm costuming them, but also a slightly broader meaning.
Of course, where you kind of catch them in their natural state, more or less.
Exactly.
And so what I did is I went back into the archives. So ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, in 20 years of doing what I do, all my author friends that come on like Diana, I only ask one thing of them, and that is I would love an autographed copy of their book to put in my library. And I have a full library of 20 years worth of authors. And so when I pulled their book out, I couldn't remember. Listen, I'm lucky I remember what I had for breakfast 3 hours ago, let alone remembering when I first interviewed Diana. So I opened up the book, and I don't know if I can get this on camera well enough, but there you go. It finally zoomed in. August 1st, 2020. In Las Vegas is when Diana and I had a lot of fun talking about this book. And we'll talk a little bit about this, but more importantly, Diana does have a new book coming out next week. So you're going to want to mark your calendars about a book called Getting Old and Other Indignities. And we'll get to that. There you go. Thank you, John, for popping that up while the folks are checking that out. And before we get to Vegas and Wrap 2.0, I want to mention in today's show, and I want to thank all of our sponsors being brought to you by Miliari Group. Give them a call because if you call them and mention you heard them here on Aaron's Hour, they will prepare a will for you for free. That's right, a free, not free will. I mean, I guess you have free will, but a will for free. Comfort Care, Home Care, Virginia Beach, Tiffany Wynn & Company. If you need companion care for a loved one at home or whether at our home or if they're in an assisted living or independent living, they will come in and support and be there with your family. My friends over at Tidewater Community College. From here, grow anywhere. Anything you need, Tidewater Community College. Different Strokes, 757. Handyman extraordinaire will take care of everything from floor to roof and everything in between and outside. And, of course, if you want to dress like a Hall of Famer, the Voice Hall of Fame Apparel Collection, that's available as well. So I want to thank all of our sponsors for helping us put on a show today. November 8th, we are 1 week past getting rid of daylight savings time. Diana, how did that extra hour affect you last week?
Well, I now go into the winter of my discontent. I hate it getting dark early. Because being an older person, I'll say it because I'm an old person. Drive, it's not a bad word. It's not a bad word.
Not at all. It's experience.
Yeah. Driving at night is a challenge. And
sure.
I never thought I would get to that point, but alas, I have. And so that's one thing.
Okay. It's funny. Sunday last week just seemed to have never ended. It was just, it just went on. My wife and I, it's pitch black at 6 o'clock and we're looking at each other. It felt like it was 10 o'clock. We were ready to go to bed.
Yes, exactly.
It's crazy. But I do like when I have to take a nap on Sundays at 3 p.m. and it's pitch black. That's kind of nice. I like for an hour. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right. We have a lot to do with Diana. Hey, put your message. Oh, John says vintage, by the way, not old. Vintage is the word we should be using. Just want to remind everybody, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts or concerns, just drop them in the chat room on Facebook. I am monitoring the Facebook page. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to talk about some rebranding here in a moment, because if I don't, then John's going to yell at me that I didn't take any notes when we talked pre-show today. You can watch. You can put your message in YouTube. John can grab those, flash it up on the screen, and I'd love to chat. We would love to chat with you through YouTube as well. All right. With that, though, as always, listen, I can't start my show without going over some news and notes. And I have to admit, today's Vegas Wrap 2.0 is Virginia Beach centric today, just as it happened. All right. With that, here we go. Vegas Wrap 2.0.
With a nod to the past and an eye to the future, here is Aaron Phillips with Vegas Unwrapped 2.0.
All right, there you go. Vegas Wrap 2.0, a nod to my dear friend, Mr. Ricky Cash, who we lost a little over 3 years ago. Love you, buddy. By the way, John, I got a response to that text message. We can share it to our heart's delight, by the way. All right. I'm going to start off with a piece of national news first. Diana, did you ever follow or pick up a copy of the Farmer's Almanac? Remember that? You know that book, right?
Yes. No, I don't.
So it's funny. The book, the Farmer's Almanac, first started in 1818. So this is a book that's well over 200 years old. It's almost as old as John. So I got to do that every once in a while. Yes, there you go. So here's the sad part. For those of you who follow the history of the Farmer's Almanac, who still use it for a lot of reasons, it's a great book to just kind of... 2026, ladies and gentlemen, the Farmer's Almanac will be putting out its final edition.
Oh, no.
Farmer's Almanac is going away. 2026 is your last edition, and their website, farmersalmanac.com, will officially be shut down December 31st of 2025. So I encourage you all to do what I did. I went on to farmersalmanac.com. You can also get this on Amazon. And I ordered about half a dozen books, the final edition. They're only like $5 a book plus shipping. So I ordered a half a dozen of them, Diana. This way I can give a few out as gifts. They're going to be final editions, right? They got to be worth something in another 200 years. Right? So
yes, that's sad to think that it's coming to an end.
Yeah, I mean everything from like when to plant your flowers based on daffodils. Best days to potty train. Best days. This craziest thing. So I figured, you know what, it would. I thought it would be a great little piece. So you can access their website through December of this year. Go to farmersalmanac.com or amazon.com. There are some local stores, but I would just go online and get it. $4.97 a copy. That's all that it was. I bought a half a dozen of them. Yeah. I'll give a few out as gifts. So sorry, John, I'm spoiling your Christmas gift. But so anyway, that's unfortunate. All right. Now, those of you who watch, you all know I love sharing casino winnings, lottery winnings, and all that stuff. But today I've got stories all about Virginia winnings of lottery. And I love sharing the Virginia lottery winnings because what people, which I love emphasizing this, and I keep saying this every time, people in Clark County or in the state of Nevada should follow suit with this. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you have a casino industry that can strong arm and kind of control a lot of things with its revenue. Every dollar in the state of Virginia that is purchased for lottery tickets or anything along those lines, online or otherwise, 100% of those proceeds go to K-12 education in the state. $900 million over the last 12 months, the last fiscal year, has gone into K-12 education here in the state of Virginia. So thank you, Virginia. State of Nevada, you all should do the same thing. All right, here you go. Here's some crazy stories. A Norfolk man won nearly $300,000 in an online Virginia lottery game. Now, that's something we have out here that I don't believe, I know Las Vegas probably doesn't have, except for maybe like betting odds and things like that. But VALottery.com, you can play the lottery right from your phone. You don't even have to go into a gas station to buy tickets, Diana.
Amazing.
How's that for convenience, right?
a little scary.
Look, that's it, right? Exactly. That's the other side. So, a gentleman by the name of Joel Pitts was playing The Lamp, which is an online game, when he had won a jackpot. Are you ready for this? $284,000 online on an online lottery. Mr. Pitts says it's a good year, he said to lottery officials when he claimed his prize. The progressive game is one of dozens available on the Virginia Lottery app at valottery.com. The odds for winning in this one particular game, any level of winning, is 1 in every 3.5 plays. Not millions. 1 in every 3.55 plays, someone can win something. Maybe not 300,000, $3, $5, whatever it is, but can still win. The recent retiree, Mr. Pitts, has no specific plans for his winnings, but he does know he does plan on donating some of them to a good cause. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Pitts. Here's another one. Do you ever see pennies on the ground, right, Diana? That is, do we even see coins anymore? That's the other thing. Right. Pennies, if you see them heads up, they're lucky, right?
Heads up, lucky.
That's the wives' tale, right? All right. So, a routine morning took a dramatic turn in Roanoke County when a man picked up a penny that he found on the ground. Moments later, walked into a shop, bought a scratch off with a winning lottery ticket that got him $500,000. Talk about a lucky penny. The man purchased a wild cash scratcher card in a store. It's on Jordantown Road in Vinton is the name of the city within Roanoke County. After scratching the ticket in the parking lot, he discovered he had hit the game's top prize. Overcome with shock, he reportedly celebrated outside the store before heading back inside to embrace the store clerk. Now, in this particular game, the chances of winning the top prize is 1 in every 612,000. However, wild cash to win any prize is 1 in every 4.01 tickets purchased. So that's not a bad lottery there either. If it's face down, you turn it over and leave it for someone. All right. John, is that a wives' tale or is that something that you're just throwing out there? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Now, Diana, you ever make a mistake and wish that the mistake that's made actually turns out to be something good instead of it just being a mistake?
Well, I can't think of anything off the top of my hat. But when you ask me if I've ever made a mistake, no, never.
No,
Never.
We don't make mistakes.
No.
Well, here's where a Virginia Beach woman won $100,000 after buying the wrong lottery ticket.
Oh.
Rebecca Chapman intended to buy a Mega Millions ticket on October 22nd, but with the jackpot soaring and games available online, she mistakenly selected Powerball. The unexpected misclick turned out to be a profitable error. Her ticket ended up matching 4 of the first 5 white balls plus the red Powerball. Normally, that combination only earns about $50,000, but thanks to spending an extra $1 on the Powerball, the winnings doubled and she won $100,000. So it's like, okay.
That's
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy. Here's one of my favorite ones. And then after that, I got one week of events, and then we'll go to our first break, and then we'll get busy with Diana. Now, we all dream about making money sitting on our couch doing nothing, right? Isn't that everybody's dream? Money just finds its way to our bank account. Well, up in Fairfax, what started out as a way to pass the time at home turned into a life-changing moment for a gentleman by the name of Jason Bridwell. He won $200,000 while playing the Virginia Lottery's online instant game, Wobbly Blobs. I don't make these names up, folks. That's the name of the game. But here's the catch for him. He was lounging at home one afternoon when he opened up the Virginia Lottery app to play the colorful digital game. Moments later, he had landed one of its top prizes, and he simply sat there and went, whoa. Bridwell said to lottery officials, yeah, I think that just happened. I don't know. I'd have been jumping up and down if you ask me. But the Wobbly Blobs game, which offers a max prize of $300,000, is one of dozens of online games. The odds of hitting the top prize in Wobbly Blobs is 1 in every 666,666.67. Hopefully you're not superstitious as well. But the odds of winning any prize in this game is 1 in every 2.3 games. So go figure. All right. Enough about casino winnings. Last piece of note, Winter Lantern Festival. You know, I talk about we have the lights going on down at Oceanfront coming up in a couple of weeks. At the end of this week on the 13th, they're allowing bicyclists to go through. And then they've decorated pretty much like 30 blocks of the boardwalk here at Oceanfront in Virginia Beach with all the holiday lights. Well, if you're planning on going up to the Jamestown settlement, of course, the historical value of Jamestown is there as well. Thursday to Sunday, the Winter Lantern Festival begins November 13th, runs through January 4th up there at the Jamestown settlement between 5 and 10 p.m. Jamestown settlement will have dazzling displays of lights for the whole family. Guests can wander among glowing Chinese lanterns, each handcrafted and illuminated with vibrant LEDs. Now, the cost of seeing the Winter Lantern Festival is a separate admission ticket than what you would buy to go through Jamestown itself and go see all the different displays. So for that, you can go to winterlanternfestival.com/Williamsburg. Tickets are $18 per person. Children under 2 are free. So if you want something unique to do up in Jamestown, November 13th through January 4th. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, almost on time. It is time to take our first break of the show, where we hear from all of our great sponsors. We get to talk more with Diane Eden about her past book, just a little bit, but then we move forward and we get to talk about her book that's coming out next week, titled Getting Old and Other Indignities. You're watching Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips, guest Diane Eden. We'll be right back. I promise.
It's not just you're here for 2 years and you're gone. It's you have a community, you have a network.
It doesn't matter where you came from or what you've done in the past. Everybody has the same opportunity here.
The financial resources, the community aspect of it, really important for your first 2 years of college. And you get that at TCC.
You know, we take family real serious here at TCC. We're a community, hence Tapwater Community College.
Is your credit card debt getting you down? When that student loan payment is due, does your cable bill go unpaid? Are you ready to throw in the towel because you do not know how to financially survive? The Miliari Group is ready to educate you on how to get out from under the pile of debt and retire as a tax-free millionaire. They eliminate student and credit card debt and help families set their kids up for success. For more information, call 956-532-2349 or email williamsastria961@gmail.com or scan the QR code to meet with us. The first 100 calls will receive a free will. So, call 956-532-2349 or scan the QR code now and learn how to become the millionaire you always dreamed to be.
I wouldn't let aging stop me from being me.
Oh yeah, still got those moves in me.
I will be fabulous.
I will accessorize.
Comfort Care can help with as much or as little home care as you need. From medication reminders and meal prep to everyday chores and errands. Let us create your personalized care plan and find the perfect caregiver match so you can live your best life possible.
Hey honey, what you doing?
Getting ready to watch a game.
What about fixing up the house like you promised?
What you talking about?
Just the new light in the den, the new shower in our bathroom, the new fence around the yard, the front steps.
Stop! You know, I have a better idea. You know Craig down the street? He owns a company that specializes in handyman services, but he is more than just any old handyman.
Really? Would you say different strokes for different folks?
You know I will. You know why? Because he does home repairs and he does painting and kitchen remodels and bathrooms and everything else in between.
How are his prices?
Great value for great quality. You know, I think I'll invite him over and get a free estimate for all the things that I know will make you the happiest, dear.
Call Different Strokes Painting and Handyman Service for a free estimate by calling 757-395-9999 today.
That's 757-395-9999. Above the rest, they show up and show out by making your vision come to life. All right, welcome back to Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips, coast to coast. It's a good thing my name's Aaron Phillips, as otherwise the title of the show would be really stupid. By the way, I have author with us, Diane Eden. This is her first book, Stars in Their Underwear. We'll spend a few minutes talking about this and the genesis of this, but more importantly, she's got another book coming out next week titled Getting Old and Other Indignities, where she continues the story as she faces retirement from a glamorous career, the death of her husband, and a reinvention as a still working designer, university professor, traveler, and author, sharing with readers that it is possible to come back after loss and to create a vibrant life in the later years. Age is only a number. Isn't that correct, Miss Diana?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There you go. Diana Eden joins us. Good to see you, my friend. I'm glad we have this opportunity. Let's not make it every 6 years, but it's good that we're back together again.
You mean I have to write another book?
Yeah. Step up on another book, would you please? Listen, if you have a book tour that you're going to come out to the Virginia Beach area, you got to let me know. We'll do some stuff together to help promote the book.
All right.
Definitely have to do that. We'll even let Tammy come out too if she wants.
Okay. And I will definitely get you an autographed copy for your library.
Excellent. Well, I'll be coming out to Vegas January 12th through the 16th to visit my dad. So you can always leave it there at the studio, or we can connect. I'll be staying at the Santa Fe up in that area. We can always connect for coffee and visit in person. So absolutely. That would be great. Thank you. Yeah. All right. And by the way, audience, John may pop in every once in a while because he knows Diana very well as well. And I've invited him to jump in and kind of play co-host with me today a little bit. So let's talk about real quickly. Let's remind the audience about your wonderful career and decorated history of being the costume designer to the stars, and real quickly the antithesis of where this book came from, and then we'll segue into the new book.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted to write all the stories that I had accumulated in my life. First as a dancer, and as a dancer and actress on Broadway in the 1960s.
Okay.
I know that decades away, but it was a fabulous time. You know, I was with some original shows and with some incredible stars, such as Carol Burnett, still going strong in her 90s, amazingly.
Yep.
Yeah, God bless. And so I wanted to share that part of my story. And then the second half of the book is the second half of that period of my life when I transitioned to costume design. And I find myself as an assistant to Bob Mackie for the Jubilee show here in Las Vegas.
Right on.
Yeah. I worked as his assistant for 2 years, and I learned everything I know about costume design from Bob.
Wasn't Bob the one who designed Carol's Gone with the Wind?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which is in the Smithsonian Museum.
Yeah. I realize that as we talk about that, for you and I, it's common conversation, but for many people out there, we just dated ourselves. So I want to encourage those to look up Carol Burnett and Bob Mackie on Google, and you'll see they did a spoof of Gone with the Wind on the old Carol Burnett show, which was probably one of the best variety shows ever. Ever, with all the people that used to be on that show. I mean, to me, I always used to tune in to watch Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, and Conway's battle of always cracking up Harvey Korman. I still watch now every once in a while. The old dentist scene pops up on my YouTube and watch that. But, So what was it like to work under a guy like Bob Mackie for 2 years? I mean, you're talking about probably the #1 costume designer at the time, right?
Yes, absolutely. And at his atelier, I've never found a good word for his headquarters, his studio, whatever. Every major star walked in that door. It was just, you know, a parade of celebrities. For instance, I was sitting at my desk, which was right opposite the desk where they kind of checked in. And this tall, very tall, skinny, very shy guy walked up, and he turned around and he didn't see anyone. And then he saw me and he said, "Is Bob here?" And it was Michael Jackson.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And Lucille Ball came in with her.
Another classic.
And Cloris Leachman and Raquel Welch and you name it. They all came to Bob. And that was also back in the days where the stars had costume designers designing their Academy Award gowns.
Sure.
That was before the manufacturers and the fashion labels got into it. So at the time, it was busy.
And nowadays, when you look at the female ladies who walk the red carpet, there's so little material on them. Who needs a designer anyway?
Very little.
That would almost put you out of business with what you've classically done, right?
Well, it keeps the wardrobe tape business.
Exactly. Wait, I have some double-edged tape here. Oh, it's somewhere. We can send it into. So, with all you probably are asked questions like this 6 ways come Sunday every day, but with all the classic people that you've worked with, I'm not going to ask you who was your favorite. I'm going to ask you, was there someone that you wish you worked with that you didn't get a chance to?
Oh my goodness.
It's probably a very small list because you probably worked with everybody who was anybody, I would bet.
Well, I never actually personally designed for Cher, even though I saw her coming and going every day. So, you know, she would have been fun to design for. Who else? My goodness. That question has caught me off guard. I'll have to think about it.
Wow, I got her with one, John.
Yeah,
I got her with one. No. So now let's go back to the traditional question.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite entertainers that you did work with?
Well, of course, Betty White. I worked with Betty quite a bit. I did a TV series with her for 2 years called Ladies Man.
Oh, I remember that. Wasn't Burt Reynolds in that one? Was that the one that he was in?
No, it was Alfred Molina and Sharon Lawrence.
Okay.
And a very young Kaylee Cuoco.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then I worked with Betty again on a film that we did up in Vancouver with Tony Danza. And so I have lots and lots of Betty White stories because she was just divine. That's the only word I can use for her.
Well, I was going to ask you about her. Was she as genuine a person off camera as she appeared on camera? Was she the real deal 24/7?
The real deal. The real deal. I was in Vancouver airport. I had to fly back to LA for the weekend. And I was walking toward the gate, and suddenly this, electric van, a cart went by, whizzing by with Betty on it. And she's waving at me, and I finally get to the gate, and she says, "Darling, I'm so embarrassed that I got a lift and you had to walk." And I said, "Don't be silly, it's fine." And I said, "Are you going in to do some special, interview show or event?" She said, "Oh no, darling, I just missed my dogs." But I mean, everything about her. I have wonderful thank you notes for when I remember some little detail. I have like 3 or 4 thank you notes handwritten, for remembering some little detail that was important to her and nobody else might have noticed.
Might have picked it up. All right, I want to segue a little bit into the new book, but before I do that, my eyesight as I've gotten older usually is not very good. So I'm looking at the wall behind you, and folks, if you can see the wall behind her, it's like a who's who of stars. But there's always some profiles of pictures that no matter how far away you are, or you just know who they are. And in the middle row over your right shoulder, that is Tony Danza, is it not?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Right there. Who's the Boss fame, of course.
Yep.
And then we talked about the lower left or the lower right corner on screen over your left shoulder. That was who over there? The John S.
McIntyre.
Who else is on the wall behind you?
Cloris Leachman, Diana Ross, who I worked with for a couple of years.
Wow.
Anne Margaret. I'm looking at this backwards. Deborah Messing.
You can turn around if you want. We won't open it.
You think I know it by heart. Thomas Hayden Church.
Wow.
Suzanne Summers, Audrey Meadows, and
that's
Carney. Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So, folks, I hope we just kind of whet your appetite a little bit for book number 1, Stars in Our Underwear, because the stories in here are fantastic. But now let's talk about the transition to the new book. The new book, again, is titled, where is it? I lost it. Getting Old and Other Indignities. Thank you, John. A memoir about aging and adventure and style. This book is going to be officially hitting the bookshelves next week. John put in the private chat that you're really good at pointing at the right place. Were you a weather person at some point, like on the green screen?
Yeah.
Because I always mess it up. I never point.
Yeah, well, when you said right shoulder or over my left, that confused me, but it's all right.
There you go.
We got it.
So let's talk about the transition from the first book to the new book. So talk about where the idea of the new book came from, and we're going to put up a crawl. You can, John, put up Diana's website first about where we can get info on the book, and then we'll put the other one up in a little bit. Talk about where the idea for book number 2 came from, please.
Well, it actually came from a period about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, where I had turned 83 and my back was hurting, and I was starting to get very sad and depressed about the idea of really getting old. And I was kind of buying into the whole cultural thing that you disappear, you're invisible, it's going to be nothing but pain, and all of that. And I thought, if I'm this scared of it, I better start looking into it. So as I was looking for a title, and I went through many, I wanted a title that let people know that even though I'm going to be looking at getting old as I'm getting old, it's not going to be a deadly serious book, you know. In fact, some of my younger friends, when I said, you know, tried some titles out, said, you can't have old in the title. People won't want to buy it. And I said, well, you know, we'll find a way to show that there's a little sense of humor going on. And then, you know, aging with adventure is important to me. And the kind of adventure is not jumping out of a plane at 90 years old. God forbid.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one.
It's more being open to new things and aging with style, because I see so many people my age who, as I say, are dressed by the committee of beige or gray. You know, everything is gray. And everybody, you know, my age says, well, I wouldn't dye my hair. Thank you very much. No, I accept myself as I am, and I'm proud. And I want to say, that's fine. But I kind of feel differently. And yes, I'm not a natural redhead anymore. But
it's okay. Neither am I. It's all good.
So I kind of look into all of these things, but I start the second book with actually retiring and moving to Las Vegas with my husband, and suddenly finding myself at a full stop, from going from a really high intensity, exciting career to suddenly sitting in my, you know, New Vegas home, staring at the walls and saying, what have I done?
Now, how long are you in Vegas now?
08 to 25, you know, 17
about 17 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So you actually got to Vegas about 10 years, 12 years after I got out there from the East Coast. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I want to stop right there because I have a whole slew of questions I want to follow up on with that point that you just ended at. So John, we're going to take break number 2 here now. We'll run it through. So we'll go straight to the top with Diana. Everybody, don't go anywhere because we got a lot of good stuff that we're going to talk about. Maybe some myths that she's going to bust about aging, what she's done to accept, hey, this is where I am. Age is only a number, and a lot more with Diana. Of course, you all know I got my very special questions to always ask my guests, all right? And with her, some of these will be right in line. You're watching Iron's Hour. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Hey, honey, what you doing?
Getting ready to watch a game.
What about fixing up the house like you promised?
What you talking about?
Just the new light in the den, the new shower in our bathroom, the new fence around the yard, the front steps.
Stop! You know, I have a better idea. You know Craig down the street? He owns a company that specializes in handyman services, but he is more than just any old handyman.
Really? Would you say different strokes for different folks?
You know I will. You know why? Because he does home repairs and he does painting and kitchen remodels and bathrooms and everything else in between.
How are his prices?
Great value for great quality. You know, I think I'll invite him over and get a free estimate for all the things that I know will make you the happiest, dear.
Call Different Strokes Painting and Handyman Service for a free estimate by calling 757-395-9999 today.
That's 757-395-9999. Above the rest, they show up and show out by making your vision come to life.
I wouldn't let aging stop me from being me.
Oh yeah, still got those moves in me.
I will be fabulous.
I will accessorize.
Comfort Care can help with as much or as little home care as you need. From medication reminders and meal prep to everyday chores and errands. Let us create your personalized care plan and find the perfect caregiver match so you can live your best life possible.
Is your credit card debt getting you down? When that student loan payment is due, does your cable bill go unpaid? Are you ready to throw in the towel because you do not know how to financially survive?
The Miliari Group is ready to educate you on how to get out from under the pile of debt and retire as a tax-free millionaire. They eliminate student and credit card debt and help families set their kids up for success. For more information, call 956-532-2349 or email williamsastria961@gmail.com or scan the QR code to meet with us. The first 100 calls will receive a free will. So, call 956-532-2349 or scan the QR code now and learn how to become the millionaire you always dreamed to be.
All right, welcome back to Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. My special guest today is author and costume design extraordinaire, storyteller, professor at UNLV, and traveler and all sorts of good stuff. Miss Diane Eden. During the commercial break, I was thumbing back through the other book, the first book, and one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies. And of course, I don't know if you probably saw this. Spaceballs 2 is starting production, but you were in the producers.
The original, yes. I created the original Bierstein showgirl.
There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There she is the Bierstein girl in the producers in the other book. So, and the other thing that dawned on me as I was going through this, when we chatted about this book in August of 2020, Stars in Their Underwear had just come out then too. And here we are talking about book number 2 getting ready to come out. So we're starting a little tradition here, Diane. You get new books. You and I are together as it comes out.
All right. Well, I'll count on you for my 90th birthday book.
Excellent. I would be more than happy to. Excellent. All right. So let's get back to it. So just as a recap, I want to, first of all, let me thank all of our sponsors, which you just saw. Miliari Group, Comfort Care, Tidewater, Different Strokes. Thank you very much for being part of our show. So you were talking about the transition. You retired, fast-paced life. Now you moved to Vegas in 2008, and all of a sudden the brakes are on the car. You hit the wall like,
Yeah.
So now you're at that phase now where you are today, but you managed to rekindle and started really a second, third, and fourth career. I mean, this is what, career number 4, 5, 6 for you?
Which proves it's never too late. Yes, it was a very hard transition, and what I started doing was signing up to work on low budget local films, and it was like going back to the beginning. Whereas I had been the costume designer with a crew of 9 or 10 working with me, I was now doing it as if I was 20 years old, doing all the jobs and lifting the wardrobe into the trunk of my car and driving to set and, all that kind of thing. But some good films did come into town that I worked on. And Think Like a Man 2 filmed here. And Step Up 5, one of the dance movies, and then Jason Bourne. But as I got older and older, I realized, what am I doing working 12 to 14 hours a day, which is what you have to do, working in film is exhausting. So
do you know Tama Hammond, by the way? Does that name ring a bell to you? Do you know Tama Hammond?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. I'll fill you in off camera. It's all good. She's Hollywood. Very major Hollywood connections where her dad was Charlie Chaplin's stand-in. So also a director, producer, and she actually had a studio in Vegas for many years. I was just curious. Okay.
Our paths didn't cross. But anyway, I have a chapter called oh God, it's going on. You see, that's one of the indignities of getting old. You're about to say something and it just goes from your head.
goes by way of the bygone era. All right, so while you bring that thought back, let me ask you this question. In your writing, obviously everybody has these thoughts and myths or misconceptions about the aging process.
Yeah.
give us a couple of, let's just say, myths that you thought were part of aging that, as you're now in this new chapter of your life, are just truly that. They're myths and they're easily broken because why?
Well, one of the myths, and a lot of people are going to say it's not a myth, is that we're invisible. As you get older, you become invisible. And I refuse to be invisible. Here I am on your show. But that's a different thing. I think that we buy into what the culture tells us is going to happen as we get older. We're less relevant. Our opinions mean less. We're just kind of eventually going to end up doddering old fools. And I absolutely refute that. I think as we are, longevity is increasing rapidly. More and more people are living to be 100. And if we take care of ourselves, our health, and our mental health, we can keep being relevant and interested in the outside world, contributing on so many levels. So that's what I would like to bust. We are not invisible. We're invincible. How about that?
I like that. That's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah. I like to say I'm old and bold.
Okay. So that's one. Give me another myth that you found not to be true about the aging process.
That there is no choice but to end up in an absolutely horrible nursing home somewhere. And I don't want to denigrate the homes that do take good care of people. By the way, jumping in, your commercial for Comfort Care. What great images of those people. That woman who says, I want to be fabulous. And another one, I insist on accessorizing. I'm going, yes, yes, yes.
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due, and John nor I can take credit for that. That commercial was actually provided to us by Comfort Care. But yes, their vision for seeing the right message was right on point.
Complimenting them on presenting that image rather than, people sitting in wheelchairs looking at daytime television.
Yeah.
Staring into space. So that is, one thing. There are choices. Granted, a lot of the choices that we make have to do with our health, whether we have family to take care of us, whether we have sufficient funds. But at the same time, it's not all written in the clouds. We have the ability to make decisions and to choose and to kind of keep control of our life for quite a long time.
I remember, I may or may not be getting the actors right, but the movie, Tiffany Wynn, who is the local franchise owner of Comfort Care, just jumped into the chat room. So I'm going to ask a favor, since I know she's listening. And Tiffany, I want you to pay attention. Diana Eden, world-renowned costume designer to the stars and author and everything, and her latest book is going to be right on target, Tiffany. So if you would please so kind as to repeat the wonderful comments you stated about the Comfort Care commercial while now I know she's listening.
Oh, yes. I was just saying how impressed I was with the clips and the images of the older people that you presented, saying, I want to be fabulous. I insist on accessorizing. I've still got moves. That to me was so wonderful and so different from the usual presentation. And I absolutely congratulate you, because my whole thesis is we're going to be fabulous for a long time, and much longer than people think we're going to be fabulous. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tiffany. Her book that is coming out, you can go on to Barnes & Noble if you'd like. You can look up Getting Old and Other Indignities by Diana Eden. There you go. There's the cover right there. It comes out. You can pre-order it, but you can actually go to Barnes & Noble and get on the pre-order list. I may know somebody who knows somebody. I could probably take it with me in January, get it autographed for you, Tiffany. No big deal. But I thought it was great that I see you pop in with that. All right. So okay. So I had a question. I had a thought in mind was we were talking about, I know what it was. So the movie that I was thinking about, I think starred, I want to say Jack Nicholson and maybe Morgan Freeman, but it was the Bucket List movie. Do you remember the Bucket List?
Yes.
I don't know if I have the actors right, but I think Nicholson was in that. But that's when the theoretically and the philosophy of the bucket list for all of us really started getting into our culture.
Yes.
So what's your thoughts on doing things that are on our bucket list as we become vintage, using John's words?
Yeah. I once had some business cards. I'm not answering the question for a minute.
That's okay.
Labeling me as a vintage traveler. And it was misunderstood. People thought that I went around, traveled to vintage fairs. I said, no. Yeah, you know, there's no perfect term other than just old. So the question was bucket list.
Yes.
I think, yes, you should continue to try and do things that you want to do and see. And travel is not something that you should say, I'm too old to do. You just have to learn to do it right. And by that, I mean, it's very hard these days to get through airports. They are not age friendly. They're not designed for people who can't walk, you know, fast or long distances. But there are ways to get assistance through airports. I always, if I'm going to be flying to Europe, I always stay halfway, either in New York or Toronto or Atlanta overnight, so that I do the trip in 2 legs. So there are things that you can do to make it possible to get where you want to get. But yes, don't stop traveling. Don't just say, oh, it's too hard, because once you get to your destination, it's so invigorating and exciting to see a culture that you love, or to meet local people, or to have your mind expanded. To me, it's one of the great joys. And I have the time now. I travel 3 to 4 times a year. I don't know if I can do it forever, but while I can, I am going to do it.
Where have you gone?
Well, I do love Europe.
Okay.
Mediterranean. I've been to Morocco 3 times. I've been to France many, many times. Italy, Spain. Those are my favorites. I've been many other places, but those are my favorites. And I also believe, rather than going on a trip where every day, you know, you have to have your luggage outside the door at 8 in the morning, and then you're on a bus, and then you're walking around the castle, and you know, there's other ways to do it.
Right.
And
that makes
I
sense.
love to stay in one place and then do side trips. Find a town or a city or an area in the country that you love, settle there, and then on your own time. Whoop! I hear voices.
So Tiffany put a comment in there. Her crew and we teach no bucket list. It's a do it list, because life is too short.
Love it.
Which is a great philosophy as well.
Well, if you think where the term bucket list came from, it's before you kick the bucket.
Right. Exactly right. Kicking the old bucket.
Where that came from. No, I love that. Do it. The do it list. Yeah.
So just want to remind everybody that the crawl on the bottom, barnesandnoble.com/getting old and other indignities. That is the pre-sale. You can buy it before it actually hits the store's shelves or online. You can pre-order it now. You can also go to Diana's website, dianaedendesigns.com. That will also take you there. I encourage you to pre-order the book. Get it on your bucket list, so to speak. Get it on your do-it list. Get a couple of copies. Send them out. Give them out to friends and family. I know it'll be an entertaining book. So my question now is, thinking about where you are, you've now got this surge in life again, like you said. You know, you kind of do you really ever think you're going to just like stop and sit back and enjoy it? And I don't mean like not traveling. I mean in terms of work. You're a UNLV professor. You teach there. You're writing a book. Maybe a 3rd, 4th, or 5th book may come. I'm sure people still call you to pick your brain about designs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you really think that you're the type of person that will at any point knowingly sit back and enjoy and relax and go, okay, I'm done. I can enjoy the rest of my life without having to pick up a pencil or keyboard.
But I am enjoying my life. And
that's
yeah. And for instance, teaching, I love it. It is not work. People say, you're still working? And yeah, there's a little bit here and there. I have to prep my lectures. But when I go down to the campus and I'm in class with, 40, 50 young filmmakers, to me, that is the here and now enjoyment of my life. It's not a job that I can't wait to retire from. So, I don't think I'd be very good if I had nothing to do. I'm not, I'm not someone who can sit in the garden and meditate. Maybe 5 minutes I'd make it.
Can only till that soil so much.
Exactly. That's soil in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. You got out here. If you come to Virginia Beach, I got plenty of dirt for you.
Yeah. Good.
Is there anybody today in today's entertainment world, regardless of what genre of entertainment, TV, music, or theater, whatever, that you would wish you would have the opportunity to design for on today's entertainment folks? Is there anybody that you just look at and go, man, I have a perfect idea for blah, 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 or not? Or maybe like, you know what, I'm done designing. I'm happy with what's out there and I'll leave it to the next generation.
I don't really look at entertainers that way, but often when I'm watching films, I think, oh, it would be wonderful to design another film. But because I do love the sequins and feathers and the glamour. Let's be honest. I've never met a sequin I didn't like. But I also
in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the right place. Huh?
That's right.
But I also like contemporary film because clothing is such a manifestation of who you are. And so with characters, what you're doing as a costume designer is really investigating what would that person put on in the morning when they got out of bed, and where would they have bought it and how long have they had it? And, all of those things about clothing, which help tell the story. So that's what I teach my students much more than, heavy period costuming or, redoing Henry VIII or,
Gotcha. I just see a message popped across the screen. Let me see. Oh, Tiffany says you'll have to show me how to do that. My wife and I actually, we had dinner with Tiffany and her husband Craig last night. By the way, her husband Craig is Different Stroke 757, the commercial that we run for the handyman. But we did dinner at their house last night. They were kind enough to invite us over. My wife is a crafter and Tiffany's a crafter. And so I'm only presuming that her last comment about asking you to show her how to do certain things is because obviously with your experience, she's a crafter and she probably has more beads. And I know she has a lot of beads and materials and stuff at her house.
I love crafting. And that's another thing that I do for the, day-to-day employment. I have a crafting group that I go to and, I love to hand sew and a little bit of knitting, and there's a group of us and we all get together and, do our project. So I'm not sure what Tiffany wanted help with, but yes.
Plus, she also needs help with social media because I suggested to her about snipping the kind comment that you made. Yeah, I got that, John. I realized after that, but that's okay. All right. So what I want to do is, again, I want to remind everybody to get out on the Barnes & Noble, or you can go to Diana's website, get online electronically, and get ready to purchase her book. And you can go to DianaEdenDesigns.com. The title of the book, Getting Old and Other Indignities. It's going to be a lighter side look at the getting older part of life, but that's okay. It's all a matter of how we decide to handle that part of our life. So as we only have about 5 minutes left, if you recall from our previous interview, there's a whole slew of crazy questions that I like to throw out at you just because. And hi, Tammy's in the chat room. A life well lived is worth reliving through stories and memories. Absolutely. We need to capture the treasured stories. Thank you, Tammy. I was talking about you, Tammy, to Diana before we went on the air about how great it was to to reconnect. So I'm glad you made it in the chat room to say hello and let us know that you're there. All right, so here we go. Rapid fire questions. No help from Tammy or the audience. So whatever the first thing comes to mind. Number one, and this is not about who you worked with. Who is your favorite actor of all time that you like to watch? Actor, male version.
Oh, male version, Jude Law.
Okay. How about the female? Your number one favorite female actor of all time, actress?
Cloris Leachman.
Oh, she's funny as all get out, that woman. She is so funny.
Yeah.
Favorite movie of all time, so that when it comes on your streaming service, TV or whatever, you block out all the noise, you grab your favorite adult beverage and snack. You don't be bothered for 2 hours. And what movie is that for you?
The Color Purple.
Really? Why the color purple?
Well, it's such a fascinating story of a family through generations and different, evolutions, and then of course in the end it has such an uplifting ending where they find each other and find peace, and the sisters reunite, and they have come so far in this country.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Very good. What's your favorite genre of music?
Oh, the blues.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find that kind of surprising for some reason.
I know.
But that's
I know.
So along the music line, so you're driving around town, especially in Vegas, you come to a red light. Maybe you're on your way to teach in a class. You're at a red light.
Yeah.
What is your all-time favorite song so that when it comes on the air, you start singing karaoke? You don't really care what you look like doing it. You don't care what people are singing, looking at you. What song is that for you that you just absolutely love singing along to?
Oh, it's the Honky Tonk song with Elton John.
Okay. All right. I dig that.
That's a good one.
What is your favorite meal, top to bottom, starting with appetizer?
Oh, appetizer. Vichyssoise.
Okay.
I know that's very pinky up, but I love vichyssoise. Filet mignon, cooked perfectly medium rare.
Medium rare, still got to be moving. Okay.
Yeah. Toward the rare side.
Okay.
And some kind of incredible chocolatey, ice creamy thing for dessert.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Favorite superhero, Batman or Superman?
Superman, I guess. I'm not a superhero person.
Oh man, I should have given you my hint then. All right, never mind. I'll let you back on the show anyway. I'm a Batman guy. That's a loaded question. That's all right. All right, 2 more questions. I'll let you off the hook. This next one, you're welcome to answer, or you can pass if you choose to. And remember, we are on the internet. We are not regulated by the FCC, so you have no concern saying it if you choose to. What is your favorite curse word of all time?
Too many cross through my brain at the same time.
Fair enough. Last question. It's the only serious one I ask of these crazy questions.
Yeah.
When the time comes, and it's going to be for many, many years down the line, you're standing at the pearly gates and the maitre d' is there to greet you. What is it you'd like to hear the maitre d' say to you upon entering into the pearly gates?
You've helped a lot of people. You've inspired a lot of people, and you were a lot of fun to be around. So come on in.
There you go. I love it. Absolutely. All right, Diana, you're off the hot seat of those questions. Thank you for taking time out of your early Saturday morning to join me. But let's not wait every 6 years, okay?
Okay. I'll do better.
DianaEdenDesigns.com is the website. The link to her new book, Getting Old and Other Indignities. I'm sure if it's going to be anything as good as the first book, folks, you're going to enjoy it. I encourage you to pick up multiple copies, give them out as gifts to your friends and family. Even if you have enemies that are getting old and you want to make them laugh, get them a copy as well. While you're on Amazon, get your final copy of the Farmer's Almanac. That's also going. So more importantly, Diana, thank you so much for coming on. We'll catch up again. Happy holidays. But when I come into town in January, I do want to connect with you. Let's have some coffee. Tammy can come to that one. We can bring Tammy on for coffee, all right?
That'll be fun.
Tammy, good to see you in there. John, thank you as always. Listen, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Now, real quickly, I got to let you know we got a change of branding because of some things going on. The only live version of my shows that you will see will be on the individual show pages, except for Aaron's Hour, because of some issues Facebook has for whatever the reason. So what you will find, though, is live versions on the Kiwanis Connect show page for Kiwanis Connects, Schmoozing with Rabbi Ari, and Aaron's Hour. Worst case, you'll only find the live versions on WVBV TV. That's the logo that you see over my left shoulder. Look, I did it right. Watching Diana do it, I got it right the first time. Look at that. And then, of course, all uploaded versions will be available on all the YouTube channels moving forward, as well as WVBV TV here on Facebook and WVBVTV.com on the website. We're kind of changing and rebranding the structure. Aaron The Voice Phillips is my business page on Facebook. I'm going to begin using that, kind of showing everything that I'm doing, not only my shows, but my work with Celebrity Grudge Match, Roller Derby tomorrow, which, by the way, John, quickly, can you throw that flyer up real fast? I neglected to bring that up tomorrow. Ghost Fleet Roller Derby tomorrow. Doors open at 9 a.m., first whistle at 10. Fall Brawl 2025 at the Peninsula Family Skating Center up in Newport News. Yours truly will be on the microphone in the arena doing that. So things like that will all now be part of Aaron The Voice Phillips Facebook page for everything that I do. I'm going to try to consolidate everything. And then everything for all the shows you'll find on WVBV TV on Facebook and on WVBVTV.com. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. I now release you all to go back to your business on Saturday. Go Penn State against Indiana. Be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. We'll see you next week right here on Aaron's Hour. Thank you for watching.